Hey guys, what's up? On this one, we will be diving into the fundamentals, the foundation of a 250k per month AI agency, 250k per month client acquisition agency, um, and really just how to build it. Like the fundamentals, the foundation, and how to build a foundation the right way, so that you can grow the damn thing. So, first things first. Why should you listen to us? Probably you shouldn't, but I am running and have been running agency called Mescula for the past 5 years now, and hopefully you can see it from here. Maybe you can't, maybe you can, but we have been doing over 250k per month for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months now. So it's starting since March 2025 until August 2025. So that's what's been happening. Trying to get this working here. Yeah, so we do always 250k per month with our AI agency. I've been in this game for the past 5 years now, and enjoying doing it and actually running the business. I have no coaching, no courses, nothing to sell you on this one. Yeah, our money comes from the business, and our goal is to do 1 million a month over the next in the next 2 years. That is our goal with the business, and on this challenge is sharing everything that I can to help people get to the place where we at right now faster than I did. So as I said, I've been doing this for 5 years now. So I launched the business 2020, and yeah, it took me a while to get to this point. So just want to make life slightly easier for you guys. I hope, I wish I would have had these things when I started, but nevertheless, let's dive in. So 250k per month client acquisition agency. There are really three keys in our business. You can see them here and you can see them here on the left hand side. So there is the acquisition, then there's LTV, and then there's a team, right? So acquisition, getting more customers, aka marketing and sales, right? Making more sales. LTV, keeping the customers longer and getting them to buy more times. So this includes everything you offer, deliverables, all that stuff you offer, onboarding, fulfillments, operations system, to actually being able to fulfill the thing that they are buying from you, and then also increasing how many times they buy from you and how long they stay with you. So retention, churn rates, cross sells, upsells, all that good stuff. And then team is obviously the one who's delivering the service, producing the results, and creating the experience and building the business, doing the day-to-day things to keep the engine running and growing. Now, if you know that to be true, I'm going to be diving more into here on my left side of my screen here in a second, but if you know that to be true, then there's really two ways to grow. You can make more sales, or you can make your customers worth more, right? When it comes to sales, it's all about the acquisition here. So the way I see it, there's four main channels. There's paid ads, organic, referrals, and partners. Pretty much everything else is like somewhat underneath of those, but there's pretty much four acquisition channels to make more sales that I know of. And then making customers worth more, there's really three ways to do that. There is charging higher prices, retaining them longer, and then getting one customer to buy with you multiple times, aka upsells, right? And then both of those things, making more sales and making the customers worth more, are possible when two main things are happening in the business: results and relationship. Those are the two main things when it comes to the business that we run: results and relationship. When you have great results plus great relationship, you will have great retention. Those are the two main things when it comes to this. Recognition, all that stuff goes under the relationship. Okay, so community, prizes, challenges, all those different things goes under the relationship. Then, if you think about this, if we are approaching this from client acquisition agency standpoint, like AI agency helping businesses with their client acquisition, then there's really two things when it comes to the results. There is lead flow and lead conversion, because all of those things will help them to get more customers and clients and make more money, right? So that's the main thing when it comes to the results: lead flow and lead conversion. If you're looking at this from the lens of client acquisition agency, an AI agency focused on client acquisition, then when it comes to relationship, clients have to feel like they belong. And the better you can make that feeling, and the things that you can include into your offering, like community, coaching, identity things, that they feel like that they can see this identity that they want to become, they feel like they belong in that stance, in that situation. So knowing all those things, here are the main core focus areas that our CSMs, client success managers, client success coaches, focus on: results, retention, and revenue. Results, retention, and revenue. The results, they coach, keep accountable, and support the clients. And we have metrics for that. In our business, because we provide leads, listing appointments, and listings for these real estate agents that we work with, our metric is 1 in-person appointment set per agent per CSM. Not that our CSM goes in and sets those appointments for them, but that they help to make that happen, and they keep them accountable on doing the things that will lead them to actually getting that result. And then retention includes renewals and churn management. And then revenue, we include into that like upsells, referral reminders and calls, so like asking for referrals. And then if there's payment failures that gets escalated from the our collection specialist, then CSM can help with those. And then if there's refund requests, handling those and all that stuff, right? But those are the three main focus areas when it comes to what our CSMs does. Because the results and relationship, all of them really goes under these three things. And these are just easy way for us to keep everything organized and everyone focused on the right thing. Now, there's really 4 functions, 4 different departments in the business. We have the marketing department, we have the sales department, right? We have the operations, and then we have finance admin. Technically, our sales and marketing department work hand in hand. So technically they are an acquisition department, but we have divided those into 2 different departments because we have 1 marketing head and 1 sales head. And then we have a head for operations and then head for finance admin. The finance admin head as of right now is actually myself. Then on marketing, sales, and operations, we have a different head. So then the question is, what's the function of that function? Like, what is the function of the department? What do they do? So marketing obviously generate leads, gets discovery calls and bookings from our call funnel to the sales team, as well as support sales by building up the like, trust, and know effect by posting content and building a brand equity and all those different things, right? Sales is here to enroll clients to the program and collect loads of front-end cash. We look at that as a cash machine, an enrollment machine, and an attraction machine, so that then we make the biggest money in the back end just because of our LTV is so high. Like our retention is so high that our LTV increases so much that our sales function is really here to just acquire clients and then collect loads of front-end cash that we can invest into the things that we build up in the back end and all those different things for the business and clients. Operations deliver the results. So that includes everything, right? They deliver the results, all that good stuff. And then finance admin, they just ensure financial health and administrative efficiency across the company. Let me show you quickly what this looks like. So we've been talking about the acquisition LTV team and then making more sales, making customers worth more, and then the different functions that we have. By the way, the reason why I mentioned about the CSM core focus area is because CSM, when it comes to client acquisition agency, especially in a local legion setting, that like the position, like the CSM position is one of the most like valuable positions that you can have, because they help to the client to get results. They keep them accountable, they support them, they handle complaints, they do all that stuff, and they really build a client's company relationship, right? So like CSM is like one of the core positions and one of the core teams. The CSM team is one of the core teams that you can have in the business in this setting. And you really want to put a lot of effort and focus on making sure that your client support and your client success is on point. But the different departments and functions that we have here. So I mentioned marketing department, sales department, operations, finance, admin. This is what our team structure, accountability chart looks like right now, pretty much. I have an executive assistant. By the way, I recommend that for every single one of you guys when you over 10, 20K per month. Yes, it may seem wild. I didn't have that. Like, I didn't have executive assistant before we were doing 150K per month. But that was a big mistake. So I highly recommend that being one of your first hires, if not the first hire, to make your life easier. But nevertheless, executive assistant, marketing department, sales, ops, finance, admin. Under marketing right now, we have our marketing manager who's in charge of our marketing department. Really just the nature of how we do our acquisition. Most of our business comes through paid ads and then referrals and affiliates. Those are the most where our business comes from, but higher portion is from paid ads, which is why like our main focus right now, and what you also should have, is your paid acquisition channels, and really just a call funnel that you can create a predictable client acquisition machine in the front end, right? And that's what we have. And that's why like biggest thing that our marketing manager does is he actually himself manages our own accounts, does media buying, email marketing, and those different things with our own ads. And then he actually still gives the direction for media buying team that does media buying for our clients, just because he was here so long and he's been building up himself up from here to here. So that's something that he does right now. But then he also has an editor/assistant helping him with those different things. Under the sales department, we have a sales manager and we have closers and setters. Now, right now we actually have two full-time closers, and then one kind of part-time going to full-time, and then 3 full-time setters. So this is the structure that we are going forward, like just getting 3 closers, 4 setters to make sure that it's always going to be consistent in terms of the cash flow. But you don't necessarily need 3 closers and 4 setters in order to be at 250K per month. Like, we even don't have that, but that's just like the safe team size that I see when it comes to sustaining the levels. But we've been able to sustain it for 6 months now in a row. So like you can do it with less, but that's just what I recommend. In terms of, obviously, when you're getting started, like, you're not going to start from like, yeah, let me just hire 3 closers and 4 setters. No, you do it yourself. Then I would recommend hiring a setter, so you can take yourself out of the setting process, and then you just do the closing, and then eventually you have hire a closer, and then you kind of build it up that way. Unless you would 100% know that you have a proven sales process already, which is probably pretty tough to know for a fact. For a fact, if you aren't consistently doing 50 to 100K per month. But that's the way I did it. I did it myself. I built it up, and then I started hiring. Then on the operations, we have our operations manager that pretty much handles all the different teams. So our CSMs aren't doing onboarding anymore. So we have divided the CSM role into two roles. There's the onboarding specialist, and then there's day-to-day CSMs. So the onboarding specialist, they're with their first week, 2 weeks, and really just making sure that the onboarding is rock solid and we can launch as soon as possible. He has onboarding / offboarding assistants who does a bunch of the campaign build outs and all those different things. And then we have 3 CSMs and 3 media buyers. Right now we are in the process of like promoting one of them to senior, and then one of the media buyers also the senior, and kind of like building up the structure on those teams that way. But as of right now, operations manager pretty much just handles all these different teams. It is possible. And we recently actually transitioned into pods. So like having the same CSM and media buyer having the same accounts, and they're working kind of together. But there's just a recent change. You don't necessarily need that, but it does make things a bit easier in terms of communication standpoint. Then we have a CS admin, and then CSR, which is simply a customer support rep who replies to all the client tickets, emails, text messages, all those different things. Make sure that the communication works outside of calls, and then also on a weekly basis we have client calling days where he's going in and reaching out to clients on top of like the scheduled calls that the CSM has. But CSM is more like a coach for us, and then CSR is more like a communication support when it comes to that. And then we have a tech guy, tech/automations, who pretty much fixes things. He's building some things, but mainly he's just like making sure that everything works and then fixing things. We are in the process of interviewing and hiring for AI engineers and such, to build new stuff with AI. And then we have finance admin. By the way, these are not in any given like order in terms of importance. Like marketing is up here, sales there, ops here. They're just like here because I put them like this. So just to let you know. But yeah, under finance admin, we have a recruiting hiring where we have an HR assistant, billing, payment collection, billing assistants, admin and reporting. Pretty much my EA does this, and then legal and accounting under this as well. So basically I'm the head in this department as of right now, but I have all the different people in those different functions in the departments pretty much handling. It's just reporting to me when it comes to that, which is kind of like basically they're reporting to our EA, and then EA is reporting to me. So technically I guess she is in charge of the function, I would say. But yeah, and the billing, payment collection is really also under the ops, because there's a lot of communication between the operation team and then the finance admin in sense to client payments and collections and all those different things, making sure that like if there's payment failure, if anyone needs, like if he needs help from like CSM to reach out, like I need to update a card or whatever, like that everything works like it should. That's pretty much in terms of the different functions and all that stuff, right? Hopefully that makes more sense. Now, going into the departments here, a couple of things that I wanted to mention is when it comes to a sales team, as you can see here, we have setters and we have closers. So our setting team focus is to set qualified appointments to closers' calendars so that they can enroll them into our program, right? And building excitement and desire to show up to the appointment, and then handling pre-call nurturing and pre-call process, and then pre-call confirmations to make sure that the show-up rate is high. And then a closing team is there to close deals and collect front-end cash, does the follow-up, work the deals, and all that good stuff, right? And then really key thing here is to handing them to the delivery team, to the operations team, the right way, so that they can actually provide exceptional service. So the onboarding really starts from the handoff that the closer does to the ops team and to the onboarding specialist, right? And when it comes to the client success, I already mentioned that we have been we have separated the CSM role into two, really. The onboarding specialist and client success managers. So the onboarding specialist is the link between the sales and the client success. and they onboard the new clients, the new customers to the program, and they ensure exceptional onboarding experience. Client success managers are there to build a company customer relationship, manage expectations, keep customers accountable, and do the things they don't want to do but need to do in order to get the results they want to get. And then coaches the clients on best practices, as well as then focuses on upsells and renewing clients to longer term contracts in order to get the clients to eventually to their eventual goal, right? And that's pretty much it when it comes to all that. A couple of things that I want to mention when it comes to fundamentals is that, as you can see here, and as we already were talking about, like we really need the acquisition, LTV, and then the team functions to work in order to build the business. And when it comes to acquisition, I already mentioned that on the marketing side of things, our main traffic comes from paid ads and call funnel. And then on the call funnel side of things, we have an opt-ins and scheduled consultations that the setter is doing, right? So we book everything to the setter's calendar, and setter is handling opt-ins and the scheduled triages from the paid ads. And then we do the same with our organic content. We do YouTube, we do Reels. Lately, we've been doing Reels just out of extracting out of the long-term content in YouTube. But our main traffic comes from paid ads. From the content side of things, we do get some into the website, which does help. And we get a couple of sales from our free content, which is pretty cool. And we also have like a free course, a training program for the leads that they get access to during the call funnel, as well as through the content. That pretty much just shows everything we do, but for free, right? And they do it themselves. And we have some affiliate partnerships that we haven't really worked on them yet, but we have those ready to go. And then referrals, we're getting a handful of referrals on a monthly basis that we're turning into customers, and we have like referral programs so the customers also get commissions and such when they do that. So there's some goodwill to that sort of things as well. Database reactivations and outbound. We don't really do outbound right now. I built the business with outbound, like through outbound DMs and such, to 80K per month recurring. So then we kind of transitioned to paid ads, but we have been thinking of getting outbound going again. Sales, there's a lot of different things that when it comes to sales, but we kind of divide them in a way that our setting team is really on the marketing side, because they connect everything and then they connect with sales, with closers, right? And then we have a sales process there with all those different things. LTV, there's results relationship, and I said the recognition is pretty much under these. I just wanted to separate it here just to make it clear that there are things that we do when it comes to this sort of things. So we have agent of the month, of the quarter competitions. We have agent lottery that we do on a quarterly basis. We have these player cards that we do when clients are seeing results and all those different things. We create a player card, we post it in our private group and all that. And then relationship, expectation setting, management, accountability, community, one-on-ones, coaching calls, university, sending gifts to your clients and all those different things. And then results, leads, appointments, and listings is what we provide in terms of results standpoint. So consistent seller leads, getting those into appointments with them, and then turning those into listings and close deals so that they can actually make money and get the results that they are looking for. But in order to do that, we have to provide different things. So when it comes to that, like, you want to think through like what is the outcome that your clients want, and then reverse engineer back to the first step in terms of like, okay, these are the things that I need to provide, and I need to kind of like think it from like full funnel standpoint, and not just like focusing on just a lead gen. There are some niches that you can do that, just lead gen, but like in multiple niches nowadays, you have to think more deeply and do more than just that. Culture, really just vision, mission, core values, different remote activities, showing up for the team, EODs, daily huddles, weekly team meetings, one-on-ones, monthly team meetings, quarterly all team meetings, weekly accountability reports, OKRs, KPIs, accountability charts, scorecards. And then obviously one big thing that I recommend for everyone is starting to build up like a company wiki, and then nowadays with the AI and everything, like you can actually build like GPT wikis and all that people can just ask questions, and it can reply and help them out. And then systemizing everything, so building a processes, playbooks, SOPs, and then having trackers for all the main metrics and KPIs that you need to track as a CEO, and then kind of going from there. And then big thing is that we have been revamping recently is team onboarding, like new team member onboarding and training, and not only like training when they come in, but ongoing training. And then it's just like putting huge effort and focus on that. And then there's just multiple different things that you obviously have to have in place, like data tracking, onboarding, launching, day-to-day, offboarding and renewals, handling cancellations, handling refund requests, handling disputes, back and upsells and renewal programs, and all those different things. Like there's a lot when it comes to actually building the foundation and building the business. But the beautiful thing is that like you don't need everything once you get started. You really just at the first steps, you need to focus on the acquisition and then the LTV, like acquisition and the actual product and the experience, the results that you are going to provide for the customers, and that you can actually deliver on the promises that you make when it comes to marketing and sales process. And then you eventually start building up process, SOPs, you start to level up, you start to get a team members, and you go from doing the things to managing the people who does the thing, to managing the managers who manage the people who does the thing, etc., and you eventually level up from that. And it's a weird process to go through because last year there were so many months where I was just like lost because I didn't like I didn't know how like where I should focus on and what I should be doing in order for us to grow. And once I realized what I need to do, we went from 150 to 250k in like a matter of months, like in like literally a couple of months after having a realization like, oh, I have to focus on this, and it will just, it's pretty cool. So that being said, there's a lot, but future videos we're gonna be diving into multiple things when it comes to these things, just helping you with everything, but playbooks and all those different things. So hopefully it was valuable. If not, no worries. The next one will be, and hit subscribe. See you in the next one.